What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And I want to speak on the situation with Adam 22 and academics. Right, I was just watching an episode, and academics was basically talking about uh, Adam 22. Like the feds had came to uh I think Adam 22's house, right? They came to his house and they had some questions for him. So academics was doing like a podcast about it. And basically academics said that if Adam 22 cooperate with the feds, that's okay. Like it's okay. And so he said that basically Adam 22 should get a pass, because he is not a gang member. He's like a regular civilian. And so my thoughts on that situation is academics, man, has lost his mind, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Anytime, you know, you create a platform and you question gang members about things that, like illegal things that are going on within their in the streets and stuff like that, and they say stuff like that on your platform, you kind of you go from being a so-called civilian to, it's almost like you setting these guys up. So I don't know, like these people, like academics and people like him, they just making up rules as they go along. And the problem with that is you making up rules as you go along, talk, like civilian and I'm not in a gang and I'm not part of that culture. But when you inject yourself into that culture, things are going to go sideways. So you got academics, what's the guy name? Adam 22 and Vlad, right? And they fall back on that I'm just a civilian, I'm not part of that culture. But you bring these guys on your platform and you ask them all kinds of questions and you allow them to talk about things that they shouldn't be talking about on your platform. And then you try to say, well, I'm a civilian. I think it's going to backfire on these guys horribly one day, right? And I just heard Whack 100 just went off on academics because he didn't like the line of questioning that academics was asking him. He was asking him about like pertaining to like snitching, or did he know about certain situations before certain situations had. And Whack 100 got mad and was calling academic all kinds of names and stuff like that, calling him a goofy and some other stuff, right? And so academics, man, I don't know. He think that he's media, but he's not really media. He's just a dude with a camera, and so he's not trained media. And even real media knows, like when real media goes into like a war zone, they know and they understand that their life and their safety is at danger. The enemy don't care that because you have a camera around your neck that you are a civilian, or they don't care about that. And so these guys are misleading themselves and misleading other people to think that you don't you are a civilian or you have some type of diplomatic immunity and stuff like that. You can't do that. If now I can see if you are a working man, you come home from work, you go in your house, you mind your business, you come out your house and you may sit out in the yard or sit on the porch or something like that. Then you should be left alone because that's not a part of your you're not in that culture. You should be safe, your family should be safe like that, but once you set up a platform and you create a situation where these guys can come on your platform and they can talk about, tell stories about situations that they have been involved in that may still be under investigation, or may get the attention of somebody in law enforcement. you're not a civilian. You basically like dry snitching, or you basically like setting these guys up. And so I kind of foresee a situation where somebody is going to get pissed off at one of these guys on these platforms for putting out a narrative that they don't like, and they're gonna probably go after them because you know, like I said, if you think that you can just say, well, I'm a I'm media, so I'm only doing my job. Even big media, and choose and ABC, NBC, all those different, they have somebody over top of them who controls the narrative with them. So if you have a reporter who's not going to go along with what's being, with the message that they want to put out, then they'll remove that reporter. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They'll get that reporter removed, and they'll have somebody else in there, and so it'll work the same way at the grassroots levels as it do at the top levels. You know, like the people who want a certain message out there, they will have that message out there. Now, if you don't want to deliver that message, then that's up, that's up to you. You'll be like I said, you'll be removed. Now, unfortunately, when you at the grassroots level, removed don't mean getting fired. You know what I mean? Like one of these gang members is not going to fire Academics. He's not going to fire Adam 22. He's not going to fire Vlad. If you catch my drift, at this level, you don't get fired. So I think that this guy, this guy Academics is playing all three of these guys, Academics, Adam 22, and Vlad. They just playing a dangerous game. And you have all these gang members talking and explaining about what's going on and what they involved in and all that stuff like that, man. You got to be careful of the consequences that come with that. You can't just hang around these guys and think that, oh, I'm media. I'm neutral in the situation. It don't work like that at no level. It don't work like that at any level. And so for these guys to mislead themselves and to try to mislead other people into thinking that, like, people in our community, you could look at other podcasters. They don't do what Vlad do. They don't do what Adam 22 do, because we already know that, like, once you inject yourself, you put yourself in that environment, then you invite everything what comes with that environment. You invite that into your environment. And so you don't want that. And people stay away from that. If they're not a part of that life, they stay away from that. Um, People are careful about the way they talk about, these type of situations, because they know of the consequences, you know what I mean? But these guys right here, man, they just don't know. They think they can make up rules as they go along, and it's going to go horribly wrong for one of these guys one day, man, because you can't be sending people off to jail. You can't be sending people to meet their demise and think that you can walk away talking about, I'm just a reporter. I'm a dude with an iPhone, so I'm a diplomatic immunity. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, I just saw an interview where Whack went off on Academics, because Wack needs to control the narrative. People already questioning him about certain things, and so he got to control the narrative. And if these guys don't put out the right narrative, then it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly for him. And so that's my take on it. I'm gonna continue to watch what happens with that situation with Wack 100, and I'm not. More so interested in these guys like Academics, man. How they just fool themselves, man, into thinking that they have diplomatic immunity, man. That's just some crazy stuff. You can't make up rules as you go along and talk about, I'm just a civilian. That's just, when I hear that term, I'm just a civilian. That's just funny. That's funny to me. Yeah, that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out later next video. Peace.